I bet. I bet. I bet. You see it? You see it? Connect that. Alright, anyways. Alright, so coming in the day today, um, we obviously popped up over this, previous all-time high, right? Expanded pretty nicely above it, but coming into the day, right, we had swept Asia highs right here, and with PBI, Red Folder News, we made a very strong close or a very strong move down, right, on both the names, right. On NQ, we popped down and closed below previous day lows and all that, right? Um, yes, obviously we didn't. Or I guess we did technically close below New York session belows, but we were sweeping Asia session lows, so it's kind of looking like that, right? And on top of that, we're kind of coming down to this order block right here, and this fair value gap, kind of in an NQ at least, I believe. We came down to equilibrium of this range. Yeah, we definitely did. So that's nice as well, right? Um, so that was kind of like it coming into the day. And normally, you know, when we have a big move like this from Red Folder News overnight, or like right before open, kind of, it's probably not going to be the best, put you in the best situation to take a trade because it kind of puts us in no man's land, right? Even here, right? We didn't have any model like, to give us a lot of liquidity up, right? We just had this flash crash. Then we're kind of just slowly building up the whole day, pop up, and then continue higher, right? Um, so yeah, an NQ, wow, NQ is fucking weak, man. That's crazy. Well, that's really weird, right? This divergence between these two. Hopefully, it can get going. Um, but yeah, so we're kind of in a rough spot starting the day, right? We come down like we put in a nice. It looked like we are gonna put in a nice model right here and potentially shoot lower, right? Or we could just this is a retracement move down, right? And we just slowly grind back up, which is what we do, right? So, but it wasn't clear. Like it wasn't clear, what we were going to do because like there's no model down here telling us what we're gonna do. We're kind of just consolidating and slowly moving back up, right? Or not slowly actually, but once the day starts going, it's actually a pretty nice trend. But it's just kind of a rough spot, right? But once we see order flow, start moving up like this, right? I'm thinking, okay, more likely now, it's probably going to be, we've swept this Asia session low right here. NQ, same shit, right? We swept this low, and now we're popping back up pretty heavily, right? On the 5 minute even, like, um, well, I guess it's really just that one fair value gap, really. But like the order flow we're getting intraday, right? After sweeping this low, pretty damn bullish, right? And once we get up to about here, um, I'm thinking most likely, right? We're probably going to come up to take London highs, right, and then continue to push higher, which we eventually do, just very slowly, right? And we hold this low. So kind of interesting, right? But we're pushing back up. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, we probably take London highs now. Just because we moved up so much right here, right, off this low. It's just looking like quick manipulation move and then continue move back up, right? That's what I'm thinking, and that's what it finally ends up doing. But yeah, really bad price action today. But if we come up right, we're seeing market structure shift higher, right? 5 minute respecting this order block, right? We see this wig down, right? And this is when NQ comes into this area, right? This big wig down. We recover immediately after, right? So I'm thinking order flow is just so bullish, right? After us sweeping this low, um, you know, it's looking really clean. Obviously, we don't get like a change in the state or anything like that. Um, for a while, even on the 1 minute, let me check. Okay, we technically did get this 1 minute change in the state, right? And this low held. So after we got that 1 minute change in the state, or actually we didn't get it till above here, right? But anyways, very bullish order flow, right? And after we recover from this wick, right, this creates a 5 minute order block, right? And off of that, right, to make the higher high in the 5 minute, we get the super strong model, right? We sweep this low out, right? Sweep these lows out, and then come push with a very strong price leg. So I'm expecting this low to hold now, right? This low to stay protected. So you get your entry somewhere in here, right, on the retest. Comes very close to taking our stop, but it doesn't, and shoots all the way back up to these stacked highs right here. Um, so this was just more of like full transparency, I didn't hold this trade. I cut it at break even, honestly, just because the day was so choppy, and in these price conditions, I really haven't traded anything like this where, the news has gave us such like a fat candle, like where there's no, liquidity pools resting. It's just one big imbalance, right? So it's kind of weird trading within that. But I definitely learned that, right? And just seeing how we're moving within it, like closing above, right? Closing above like equilibrium of it, just the way we're moving, was showing me that we wanted to go higher. So we do eventually go higher, right? Nice trade, and then we come all the way down to the first percent of fair value gap, right? We retraced damn hard off that, and now we're pushing back up. I would have liked to seen us, break above and expand higher, but that's pretty big range. That'd be pretty big range for the day, right? We kind of did our range, and we're kind of in this chop, but it seems like we're finally breaking out on ES. That's another reason I didn't like this because we were in this chop profile. But once again, also on the higher time frame, another reason I like this because like on the higher time frame, basically this is just sweeping these lows right here, right? Coming into this, these PD rays, these fair value gaps, this balanced price range, right, and this order block, right? All these PD rays and the wick we were getting was crazy, right? With such strong order flow intraday, I'm thinking it's just most likely that we want to come up to here, and I would put risk on that. And then when you see a super strong internal model like this, right, after we made that super weak 5 minute candle, that wick, we immediately pop back up, hold, um, create another higher high on the higher time frame, the 5 minute, right? With this strong model, I'm willing to take that. For me, it seems aligned that we want to come take these highs, right? Obviously, would scale someone NQ takes London highs, which is right here. But yeah, then ES does, and then we shoot back down. So overall, pretty calm day. The most important thing when it comes to trading is obviously you got to have your skill, right? I do this for my skills, my analysis skills. Um, you know, being able to align all the higher or the time frames together in order to come up with a good trade that I believe in. But honestly, the most important thing is being able to respond to the environment, which that includes you, that includes your thoughts and all that, right? Um, that's the most important thing is the mindset, the mentality you have towards it. You can't be like forcing things, right? You need to be able to respond to the situation with 100% totality, right? Like how it actually is. Like I said, um, we got to practice, acting independent of motivation or tiredness. Um, when you're motivated to make money, like that's gonna do something to you. You need to act in the right way, right? Follow your system, not be greedy, not just try to take trades just to make money. You need to be following your system, and focused on analyzing reality of the situation, not just being one-sided just so you can take a trade. You know what I'm saying? So you need to really just be able to respond to the situation and the environment, in the correct way, and that including yourself. The environment is including yourself. Um, per se, like your ego is telling you, some thoughts are stemming from your ego. You got to be able to realize that, and not let them affect your decision making. So yeah, that's pretty much it.